The devil is a liar. Great morning, fantastic morning, absolutely marvelous morning. Good morning. My name is Edwina B, and I am here to share my experience, my strength, and my hope on the Alcoholics Anonymous Daily Reflection reading for today, January the 2nd of 2023, while including the 5 agreements that was produced by the Ritz Ruiz family. I have to get that right, right? I have to get that right, right? And so I don't represent Alcoholics Anonymous, but I've been a proud and grateful and humble member for almost 33 years. If God chooses to wake me up on February the 23rd of 2023, we will be celebrating 33 years in recovery from alcohol, drug addiction, and the entire lifestyle. To God be the glory. Thank God for introducing me and putting me in the spiritual principles established by Alcoholics Anonymous over 90 years ago, and my recent introduction to the 5 agreements. When I talk about increasing my spirituality and enhancing my 12-step spiritual program, woo, I'm on fire. And guess what? The 12 recovery principles, spiritual in nature, not religious, and the 5 agreements, again, not religious, but spiritual, right? Says the first thing that we need to do when entering those 2 doors is to begin to remove the mask. Come to them just the way you are, right? And so I always start coming on with my mask, right? You know this is a wig, right? You know these are not my teeth, they are my dentures. The other day I started with this wig. The next day I started with this wig. Today I have this wig. Well, I must ask myself, and you probably will ask, well, who is Edwina B? I don't know. I'm discovering who she is. So first, the mask must come off. Whoop! Ha ha! And I flip this up a little bit, right? And listen, if y'all from Missouri and y'all don't think these are my teeth, ha 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 ha. Here we go. I need them to articulate, right? So let's put them back in. It's a beautiful thing when you realize that the Creator accepts you just the way you are. And on February the 22nd of 1990, underneath a parked car in the streets of Philadelphia, getting high with my stepson and doing all kinds of sexual favors for my stepson while we were both in our addiction, I put myself underneath that car, my life flashed before me, and I hollered out to this God that I didn't know, whoever they say you are, take me out this life now or show me a better way. And I haven't looked back. Hey, to God be the glory. Okay, so now I am having some challenges, okay? And so the first challenge is that when I was trying to bring up the daily reflection for today, and it's entitled Sobriety. Is that all it is? Okay. And also the 5 agreements. So what I'm going to do while I search for the information that I'm looking for, I'm going to introduce you to the 5 agreements. Okay. Now, while I am doing that, I wonder if I can, because I'm live, I don't know, but I'm going to try to bring up the Alcoholics Anonymous. No, I don't think I can do that, all right? So I want to, let me see, what can I do? I don't know. Let's figure it out. All right, so, oh, calm down there, Wiener. Relax, breathe, okay? And so I thought I would have printed it, and I will do that tomorrow. But anyway, I remember what it says. So for right now, we are going to share with you. What is this happening? What happened? All right, so all right, here I am, okay, because I lost me for a second. That's because the camera went back. That's why in recovery they teach you to be patient, work it out, take a deep breath. All right, it'll come back to you. All right, so as I was saying, I want to introduce, like I did yesterday, and really on December the 31st, the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family. Okay, and this wisdom book has enhanced my recovery twofold. Okay, and here you are on Instagram. All right, but twofold. So I suggest you all get this book. On this is the 4 agreements, but then there's a slew of others, and there's one by itself called the 5th agreement. All right, and so it is by the Ruiz family, Don Miguel Ruiz, right? And when I say wisdom, oh my God, I just can't put the book down. I'm listening to it online. I'm listening to it on tape, CDs. I can't get enough, just like I couldn't and can't get enough of the 12-step spiritual program developed by Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay, so the 5 agreements are: be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Example 1: I was told I will never be nothing, and they were right. Example number 2: did you hear that Mary and Joe are having an affair? Wow. Agreement number 2: don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Example number 1: my mother said I was just like my dad. Bad. Mm. Example number 2: you can't sing. Your voice is awful. Example of, right, talking to myself, and example of taking my mother's opinion as face value, right? Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. Agreement number 3: don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. Example: he is late because he is cheating on me. B: even though I studied, I know that I failed the test. Really? Agreement number 4: always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstances, simply do your best and you will avoid self judgment, self abuse, and regret. Example: Forrest Gump. Everything he did, he was happy doing it. And he expected no rewards. He always did the best he could, right? And then me personally, I make every effort not to miss my AA meetings. Coming up on 33 years, listen, I can count on two hands how many meetings I have missed, but I stay connected, and I've never left the basics, okay? So that's always doing your best. And finally, the fifth agreement, if we, well, let me go back to the fourth agreement for a second, because when we always do our best, that means we are incorporating the first three agreements, right? Be impeccable with your words, don't take anything personally, and don't make assumptions. When we put into action, always do your best, we are incorporating the first three agreements. Now to the fifth one, right? The fifth one says, be skeptical, but learn to listen. Don't believe yourself or anybody else unconditionally. Use the power of doubt to question everything you hear. Is it really the truth? Listen to the intent behind the words and you will understand the real message, right? Example one. I tell myself that I can't do anything right. Be skeptical about that. Edwina, now you know you'd have done some things right, but guess what? I'll say to myself, I tell myself that I can't do anything right. I know I got a misspelled word. Okay, all right, all right. Example number two. John said he will be a millionaire in 1 year. Well, all righty, John. But guess what? I'm from Missouri. Show me. Not that I didn't believe him or disregarded what he's saying. Listen, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. And I wish you well, but I'll see you in a year. All right. And so for me, those are the five agreements by the Ritz. I'm going to get that name pronounced right because people don't like you mispronouncing their names. All right. But I ain't going to take it personally. Right. All right. So listen, because I cannot put my hands on the January the 2nd reflection reading for today of Alcoholics Anonymous. Thank God I did read it and I remember it. And it's basically saying sobriety. Is that all to it? No, no, no. Sobriety is the beginning, right? And this comes from the book as Bill sees it. I don't remember the page, okay? And so basically what it's saying is building a foundation, sobriety. First, the name of the article is First, the Foundation, all right? And Bill W's quote, he was basically saying, is sobriety enough? And it's not. But first we have to build the foundation, which would include putting down the drink, all right? I have to pause for a minute because my smoke alarm is going on. I'll be right back. I love it. I love it. I love it. See, the agreement kicked in. Always do your best. For example, I was trying to dry a shirt, right? And the old fashioned way is to open up the oven, turn the oven on, and let it get some heat on the article because I can't dry it. And so whatever. Whew. So when I heard the first alarm, what did I do, y'all? I said, hold up, I'll be right back. Let me take care of this. That's doing the best that I can any given moment because I don't want the fire company to be coming. I don't want the beeping to distract me from what I'm saying. And that's an example of using the 12-step spiritual programs and now these 5 agreements on doing the next right thing, but doing the next right spiritual thing. All right. So Bill W. was talking about first the foundation. Putting down the drink is the beginning of building that foundation. And he described the process of building a house, right? So first, the alcoholic who shared his experience, strength, and hope on his interpretation or perspective, from the from the from the reading, he basically said, okay, he looked at it as building a house, right? And you have to build the foundation first, right? And so he talked about laying the concrete on the foundation. Okay, that makes sense, right? And then he talked about after he completed the concrete on the foundation, he erected one room, right? And because just with the concrete and the foundation, the wind, the rain, the snow, all that, right? What's good is the foundation if you haven't built something to protect you, right? So his next move was to build a room. And the room was, shaky. It wasn't that good. But guess what? He built it anyway. And he had his first experience with using what he had, right? So he had the foundation and he had the room. And as he stayed in recovery, he began to build more rooms, right? And so let me stop there and let me interject my perspective. I've learned since then that when you are building a foundation, and if we take the same example that this alcoholic took, and this is using the 5 agreements, right? I would say to myself, I applaud him, okay, for doing that for him. And that equates to, putting down the drink. And for me, I believe the first foundation is to acquire through, I believe, humiliating experience to become humbled, having that desire to stop drinking, right? Having that desire to want to quit. And so for me, the foundation, in my interpretation, in my perspective, starts with the desire to want to stop. And so once that seed of wanting to stop, I put out into the atmosphere by even telling myself, I want to quit drinking. And so because that desire was so strong and it became stronger, right? Because I was in my addiction for 14 years, right? And so on February the 22nd of 1990, that desire to want to quit drinking was so powerful that I was ready and willing to die. Yes, I had the desire to live or the desire to die. And that's when I asked that God, whoever they say you are, take me out this life or show me a better way. All right. And so almost 33 years later, I was put on a pathway to recovery. So that was the foundation for me, having the desire to put down the drink, and I haven't picked it up since, right? And so now coming into Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Not knowing what it was about, not knowing what it was going to offer, but I remember, right, using the 5 agreements, right? What my life was like before that cry for help, the desperation, the humiliation, all of that, right? And I began to believe that I was going to die like that. And I really, really didn't want to, right? So I had to become impeccable with my word. I want to quit drinking. I want to stop using. I want to stop. And I want to stay stopped, right? Right. So I came into Alcoholics Anonymous, And I began to become and practice being open-minded. Once I got honest with myself, be impeccable with your words. Once you get honest with yourself, not with everybody else, and I'm going to talk about the opinions of others, but I was telling myself that I was going to die like this. But guess what? I didn't give myself life. I didn't give myself breath, right? I didn't give myself my whole essence and being. No, I didn't. It was a creator who I didn't know personally, right? But coming into Alcoholics Anonymous, the foundation for me was to put one foot in front of the others. And so my foundation was, one, having the desire to stop, right? February 23rd of 1990, I put down, the drink was put down on the previous day. And the next building of my room was going to meetings. And when I go to my AA meetings, right, I begin to see other people recovering, and I begin to compare myself. Why? Because the 5 agreements talk about the conditions and the belief systems that we were raised with by people in our family, by society, by our community. And so those old thoughts, and I didn't know they were old because that's all I knew, right? And so I began to take things personally. I began to compare myself with this person and that person. And those old thoughts would say, I'll never get it. I'll never get it. I'll never get it. But then I remember that cry, right? Take me out this life or show me a better way. So that meant I had to begin to utilize the information and the tools and the instruments that were available for me to begin setting the pathway to freedom. Right. And so as I begin to keep coming back and get involved in all the literature and the service work and the fellowship, I began to strengthen my foundation, right? Okay. And so as a result of building my foundation, they suggested, see, the word suggested, when I look at my ancestors and when I look at my family here and when I look at my grandchildren here, what am I going to share with them that I didn't get from this family and that I never knew from my ancestors? Okay. And so so once I began to hear this new information, I had to begin unlearning those things that I learned. And this is what the 5 agreements talk about, right? The process of domestication, right? And so as a result of involving myself in the suggested steps, not telling me what to do, right? Because we have a rebellious nature in us. And it says we suggest. If you want to jump out of a plane, we suggest you put on a parachute. What do you think, right? All right. And so as a result of getting involved, becoming open-minded, and definitely having the willingness to stay on this journey, no matter what is in front of me, no matter what challenges, no matter what obstacles, no matter what barriers. I remember being underneath that parked car, and I don't want to go back there. So whatever's in front of me will be a lot better than what was behind me. And so as a result, I believe that my foundation and the foundation of the writer and Bill W., who said, first, the foundation. The foundation. Then when I looked at pouring the concrete right on the ground, I said, nah, there's another step before that. I got to look at the soil. Yes, I got to see if there's any bodies under there, graves and stuff. I got to see if it's sitting on water. I got to see if it's infested with this or that. So yes, I can lay the concrete on the foundation, earthly foundation, but I need to go to the root. I need to go underneath so that foundation will be unshakable. And guess what? My foundation has and will continue to be unshakable. Why? Because I'm staying connected to the spiritual program of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm staying connected now that I was introduced to the 5 agreements and the whole slew of books. I'm on fire! I'm on fire! I'm on fire! I'm on fire for my Creator. Yes. When I demanded him take me out this life or show me a better way, I had no idea he would be preparing me to sit before you today. So my time is up, and I'm going to come back tomorrow if it's God's will, right? That I am here and you are here as well. And as I'm launching uh, every day that God wakes me up to be in front of you, I don't care. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I'm going to do the best I can wherever I can. I'm not going to make the assumption that I can't do it, right? I'm not going to take nothing personally. And let me put in the word practice. I'm going to practice being impeccable with my word. I'm going to practice being not taking things personally. I'm going to practice not making assumptions. I'm going to practice doing the best that I can do always. And I'm definitely going to practice not being skeptical and learning to listen. Listen to learn. And so the 12 recovery program, spiritual principles. Oh my God, and it uses a serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It also says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I can't change, the courage to change the person that I can, and the wisdom to know that that person is me. May the force be with you. Enjoy this day and do the best that you can. Okay. All righty.